Well, let's go if you want to go, because this is my. If there's ever an episode that's going to be for me, the zombie one, it's me.
I know. I thought of you.
All right, here we go.
Gotta show some Stevie there. Okay.
You ready now?
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
ready?
Maybe.
Are you ready
Stevie,
now?
Eh,
can you hear me now? Yes.
How about
about
now? You ready?
Oh.
now?
Okay. Apparently, I talked to my phone and it started answering for me.
Okay. Is your phone okay? Can we go now?
I'm ready. Let's go.
How about now?
And hit it.
Welcome to the Artie's Attic Warehouse 13 Fancast, where a steampunk girl, a lifelong sci-fi fan, and a rocket scientist chat about the popular 2009 sci-fi series. There's never a dull moment with the agents dedicated to protect humankind from unexplained phenomena that manifest their powers in special objects. And there's all those friendships and relationships along the way. Grab a cookie while you can. Hope you don't smell fudge. Gear up with your Farnsworth, Tesla, and Neutralizer, and let's have some fun by snagging it, bagging it, and tagging it.
Welcome back to Artie's Attic. We're a Warehouse 13 fan cast. I'm the Warehouse 13 janitor, now completely ignoring the Sallah fortune teller and the shiny box in the middle of the warehouse. My name is SP.
Yeah, because, that mole looks like cancer.
And introducing Artie's Attic lead agent and historian who spent the afternoon burying pennies in jars in her backyard. It's Agent Shannon.
What's up, guys? I did a lot of coins today. Yes.
And I wrote this irrespective of what you did today. So that was just
That's pretty cool.
What a
Happy
coinky dink.
Yeah. And also joining us is the warehouse agent who is in full zombie prep mode. It's Agent Carolyn.
Yep. There's only two ways to get rid of zombies. Either run really fast or shoot them in the head. Pop, pop.
Pop,
Can you
pop.
knife them in the head too?
Don't shoot me.
If you want to get that close. Heck no.
Leave the head alone, but don't shoot me.
I mean, I'm not that good of a shot as far as if I was going to throw a knife, so I think I would rather shoot him, really.
Well, you got your own resident zombie right here.
Yeah, kind of, but you're more you're not as cold looking as the ones on the show.
I am
You
cold.
have color. You have color in your face.
Yes.
I mean, your hair grew back.
Yes, after dying twice. So it's there. It's more than he has.
I don't think zombies' hairs grow.
That's my point.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
My bangs are like coming all the way down towards my chin. So
It's closing in on 2 years, right?
December will be 2 years since the aneurysm. Yeah.
So you're about a year and a half into it.
Yep.
All right. Well, in the meantime, we are continuing our Warehouse 13 series discussion with the episode that premiered on September 19th, 2011, 2.5 years before the Guinness World Record setting of the largest parade of food trucks in Tampa, Florida on March 29th, 2014, with 121 food trucks.
Holy food trucks.
Speaking of a long time ago,
They all have tip jars.
I hope not. Do you know also, for the little tidbit, it's been 15 years ago this month since the premiere of Warehouse 13.
I saw that on Twitter.
July. I think it's July.
Or X. Whatever.
Whatever. I can't remember the day. I know it's July 2009 is when it premiered.
That would be 15
Mhm.
years. Yeah, 15 years. 15!
Yes, and I said I really enjoy reviewing it with two of my friends.
And I still love the show no matter what. It's still one of my favorites.
Including the 5th season.
That's debatable.
I physically hurt you there. Physically hurt you.
That's
You can see
pushing it,
her
so-
physically win.
No.
The zombie Shannon comes out. I'm referring to the Warehouse 13 Season 3, 10th episode, Insatiable. The IMDb description reads, frozen flesh-eating zombies are running amok on a campus in Ithaca, New York. Meanwhile, death will stop at nothing to claim its next victim, Claudia. Shannon, this is the penultimate episode before your favorite episode. So what'd you think?
And what did I think? I like well, you get to see Jinx again at the very end. And just when you think that he's a straightforward kind of guy, and then obviously he could be twisted. He could be turned.
Well, when the Regents have pretty much made you persona non grata, killed your credit report, killed all of your credit cards, and basically made you a homeless bum, your prospects are kind of dim. So he had to do something.
Now, it's actually paining me because I remember where the storyline goes. So I'm like,
me too.
like, okay, we'll just go with it for now.
We'll just go with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the introduction of in real life, his name is Sasha. That's why I remember it. But on the series, I can't remember what his name is. The guy that was trying
Marcus Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just know in real life his name is Sasha because in real life he is friends with Jamie and her husband. And
Jamie Bamber?
Jamie Murray.
Oh, okay.
And he's friends with what was the blonde woman from Defiance? Julie Benz.
Yes.
Yeah, they all hang out.
Braid of Justice.
Yeah, that one. So I liked the banter back and forth. I liked the Pete, as always, has the great one-liners in it. You know, pop, and you shoot me two out. But I think it was one of those kind of a throwaway episodes that's just really, you could take out everything in it and just leave the part it was Steve met with the guy. And
well, there's a little bit more because they're showing the warehouse is experiencing faults.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing that Myka and Pete are upset about not being able to go after the true threat for the warehouse.
right.
I mean, if you had any sort of doubt of what was happening before, this episode basically laid it all out to you, because Artie's saying the Regents are handling it.
Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Do your job. I like
have a ping.
I like the part where he's like, you know, the Regents are here, I'm here, and then he stomps his foot and he's like, you're here.
And then Trevor
And then
says,
and then the dog barks. Oh, I'm sorry.
So I mean, I like that part. I like the fact that, you know, Mike is the one that got cold again this time. It's never Pete. Pete's only been
Pete did get bitten, and he was like, well, Myka, if I start to turn, I want you to take me out. She's like, okay. I know it's going to be... Wait a minute.
What?
Why did you agree to that so easily?
she did. She was like, okay, matter of fact, I'll take you out, because she doesn't want to be the zombie there. Now, Shannon, I would think you would have loved this episode because of the history behind the Donner Party. I know it's kind of popular in history, but this is our lead into it.
I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it's almost like every episode has some kind of history leading into it. But, you know, the cool thing I like about this series is because the history that they choose to talk about in whatever episode they're in, it really happened. It's a real thing in history.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they may tweak it a little bit to fit into the storyline, but the Donner Party did happen. They did die of starvation and cannibalism.
Hypothermia.
So,
and
hypothermia. And they resorted to cannibalism. So you take all that, but then they tweak it and they make it about the jar. And I have always loved that aspect of the shows that they do, the episodes that they do. So it's a little bit of history, a little bit of sci-fi, which leads me to steampunk. So
yes, even in death, they were putting away some money for a rainy day.
yeah.
Hence the tip jar that he found in Utah.
I mean, they're not really gaining any more money. So I'm just wondering where this money was coming. It should have been in safekeeping to begin with. There was no need to bury it.
I now know where money goes, where coins go.
Yeah, you work with them now.
I work in the vault. I see them.
Work in the vault.
Big ones.
As opposed to the IRS warehouse.
Yes. It's the warehouse.
Hey, so you kind of work in the warehouse.
Ooh.
You got your wish.
You got your wish. You work in a warehouse. Now you just need the shiny badge.
I need a shirt that's, I found one. There's on Amazon. It says snag it, bag it, tag it. I'm going to get this shirt.
And you're going to wear it to work, right? Snag it.
Yes, actually, that'd be great.
I'm
People
sure
will-
they'd love a shirt that says snag it, bag it, and tag it.
Look, they don't care what you wear as long as you don't have metal. They're like, you can wear sweatpants. I'm like, I don't wear sweatpants to Walmart. That's just not happening. But I
You
did.
could probably wear yoga pants if you're going around snagging stuff.
I was told I'm not allowed. But I went last night to Shields looking for BDU pants, but I didn't. All of them has zippers on it. So I was looking. A long time ago, I used to have the kind that had the button up.
Yeah.
But so I bought some chef pants instead last night. They're BDU chef pants. So
Probably also the medical pants might also be good. 'Cause,
Scrubs.
yeah, they wear pretty well. The ones that you buy personally, not the hospital gown stuff.
I've had enough of those. So thank you.
Yep. So I was running down the list of guest stars, thinking we're gonna run into somebody that's really important in this episode, and yeah,
Who did we have? We didn't have anybody.
no. Well, the closest you had was Dwayne, and he's played by Johnny Packar, I think is how you say his name, Packar, and he has 39 acting credits, but not anything too big. Matter of fact, before he did or during this episode that he did of Warehouse 13, he did 22 episodes of a series called Make It or Break It. And that's probably
Never heard of that.
Flight 29 Down. He did 30 episodes of that. So yeah, not really noted. And he really didn't catch on to anything. The last thing on his IMDb is in 2023. And it was a movie called America is Sinking. And I was like, okay, well, this is something that I would, like. Extreme flooding is brought on by melting glaciers, and rapid erosion loosens faults, resulting in earthquakes and
I bet
massive
it's political.
tsunamis.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Scientists, it's actually sci-fi. It's not a drama or anything. Scientists are racing against time to create sinkholes to balance the water as North America sinks. So I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. Let's go into the reviews.
That sounds stupid.
Yeah.
And one of the reviews, which I can't pull up right now, said something to the thing of, this is the most stupidest movie ever. I was like,
Big surprise.
Bummer. So yeah,
He's
not
that won't be
really.
on my list.
That's not to say that he can't turn things around and get a great movie.
Now, which one was he in the episode?
He was the hot rocker dude. The one that Claudia kissed at the end.
Oh, that guy.
Yep, that wanted her to jam with him. That
Ugh.
guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
that
yes,
guy.
But you do get to see Allison. This is really Allison playing the guitar up there.
Yeah.
So you can see
Mhm.
that. I mean, that was the cool part. You're going to start seeing more of it. And I like when she does the cherry bomb. I can't hear myself. I like when she sings the cherry bomb because later on she gets the actual lady. I can't remember the name of the band.
That does Cherry Bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it before.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
I know that she used to be in the Runaways, but it's not the Runaways that does it.
Yeah, and when she's going to go jam and she comes down and Artie's messaging her and she's like, I thought I had some time off. And he says, well, I changed your mind. I changed my mind. What did he call it? He said it was started with an M. I can't remember. He said, I'm something like that. And
I think you're talking about Cherry Ann Curry.
She comes over. She's a guest star here pretty soon.
Cherry Ann Curry, one of the two. Whatever her name is that she's going by right now. But just to back up a second, because I finally found the review that Dwayne was in. There's several. I'll just give the first one. America is stinking. The story of the worst movie ever. Possibly the worst movie I've ever watched. And I have seen Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh, no.
I really wish I had read Blue Skittles' review before renting this dumpster fire. The level of acting is below a soap or telenovela. Terrible. I cannot stress enough how bad the acting is, and production possibly even worse. Do not pay for this movie. Do not even watch it if it is free. You will regret the 1 hour and 23 minutes of your life. 0 stars. The principal in Billy Madison comes to mind when rating this movie. Quote, everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Unquote.
Oh,
That's
tell me how you really feel. I mean, so he really didn't like the movie.
He really didn't like it. I'm more interested in Freddy Got Fingered. I mean, what happened? What's that?
You know, another movie that my brother and I watched that we thought was going to be hilarious because the trailers looked really funny. And by the end, we were like, I just feel worse for watching the whole thing. Right? It was Kung Pao or something like that. I think it was called Kung Pao. The trailers were funny. It was like slapstick humor, and both of us really like slapstick humor. Those were the only funny things in that movie. We're in there going, okay, it's got to get better because the trailers were funny. Okay, it's got to get better because the trailers were funny. When does it get better? The trailers were funny. By the time the credits were rolling, my brother looks at me and he says, I'm sorry I even suggested we went to this movie.
So I used to have a DC podcast that was reviewing the Arrow TV show over on the CW. And because of that, I got re-energized to go back and see some of the DC movies, which,
I'm not a DC fan.
So I really enjoyed the 89 Batman movie, with Michael Keaton. And ever since then, DC
that's
is
my
not
Batman.
Yeah.
Ugh, I have never been Batman. You know what? I like Wonder Woman, and I like Superman with the Henry Cavill.
Did you see Wonder Woman 1984?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Don't.
That's what I hear. I love the first one, but I heard the other one was like...
It was... Somebody was high on some very bad weed when they wrote that. I don't know. It's horrible. It was a bad story. The acting, and I love both her and
Chris Pine.
But this was not no, they should not have done that. Stop it.
DC
Number one,
to do
watch
that.
Wonder Woman.
They have like awesome shows, like a really good one, like Wonder Woman. It was really good. And then they come out with like Superman versus Batman. I didn't watch, but I saw pieces of, and I'm like, oh.
I don't like Batman, period. I am such a Marvel girl. I don't like a whole lot. Those are the only two DCs I'm going to watch.
So Batman versus Superman, I have one word to review that. Martha. And those that have seen it will know what I'm talking about there. So I am currently doing a Marvel podcast called Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was started to review the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show that came out in 2013. It's been going ever since, and currently we do the MCU as it's shown in Disney Plus in the films. Well, that expanded because we were starving for content into the Sony Marvel stuff for movies like Morbius and Madam Web or whatever that was. And that the Sony Marvel stuff might as well be DC as far as I'm concerned. Not good movies at all. Matt Smith could not save Morbius. And Matt Smith is a really good actor. I know a lot of people like him because of Doctor Who, but he's a really good actor.
Matt Smith is one of the main actors in House of Dragons, and it is freaking amazing.
I haven't seen it, but I know Matt Smith is good.
And I'm not, you know me, I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but Matt Smith also played in The Crown. I don't know if you've seen that. He did really good in that. But here in House of Dragons, oh my goodness, I didn't even finish the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, but this one, you don't even have to know Game of Thrones in order to watch this. It's awesome. Go watch it. But Matt Smith does amazing.
Does everybody die though in House of Dragon? Just like the
I don't
Game
know.
of Thrones?
I'm only in the second season.
See, I don't mind killing off characters as you go along, but I didn't know who to root for. So because I didn't have a character that I could really delve into and carry on throughout the thing, I left Game of Thrones at, I believe it was the season 5, I think it was. It was the episode called The Battle of the Bastards. It was a really good episode. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get out on a high note. I'm just going to leave here. And it was after the Red Wedding or Crimson Wedding or whatever they called it.
Red Wedding, yeah.
Yeah. That was not the reason I got out. I got out because of a cascade amount of reasons. And one of which was they were killing off any actor that you liked. And I was like, I don't want to get pissed off anymore at something that I'm watching. So I got out of that. And if House of Dragons is anything like that, I don't want to watch it.
Okay, so I would say no, because in Game of Thrones, you had people getting killed off like in every episode, right?
Yeah.
They have not had that here. You had a king that was the king through the whole entire first season who died of old age. But it's now getting down to we're about to have some battles kicking in because his successor, he wants it to be his daughter, and everyone else doesn't want a woman. So, and she's married to Matt Smith. Matt Smith is her uncle, but she's married to him.
Ew. But that doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't. They did
That's
this
what
shit
they
all the
did.
time, right?
Yeah, I know.
So, but
they wondered why they had issues.
They are both Valerian. Yeah, they're the Valerians, the House of Dragons. But what I can't even remember her name. The girl that did the Mother of Dragons. What was her? It's her race.
In Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the wide hair people.
I never watched them.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Targaryen. That's what. Yeah, they're the Targaryens. So House of Dragons follows the line of the Targaryens.
Okay.
And it's about
never got HBO, so yeah, it wasn't really anything that I watched.
This is supposed to be about 800 years before Daenerys.
I don't know because I know how it turns out. I
don't know how it turns out because I haven't seen the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones.
No, but you see the beginning of Game of Thrones, which is 800 years after this series, right? So you know how 800 years later is everything's turning out. Winter is coming.
I know that phrase because it's all over the place.
Phrase. They even say that phrase in this. Anyways, I like House of Dragons. I'm only in the second season. So far, it's really good. But
does Jon Snow know in the House of Dragons?
He still doesn't know. You know nothing, Jon Snow. You still know nothing.
All right, let's get back to Warehouse 13. Kind of got off a tangent there. Just trying to talk about the guest actors, which there really wasn't anybody of note. I didn't have any issues with the performances, but you're talking about like frat boys and.
Did you notice that the frat boy that turned frozen and zombie-ish and ate a squirrel, last name was Mulder?
Yes, from Wisconsin. Which I went into the X-Files wiki because I couldn't remember, and Mulder was born in the Northeast. He was not born in Wisconsin.
Well, I just thought it was funny. As soon as I heard Mulder, I was like, "Ooh, nice reference. That was good."
It had to have been a reference. Yeah.
I think the best part of this episode was when all the times you've seen Claudia try to reach out to Jinx, and then the one time he finally answers, and it's nothing like what she expected.
Yeah.
I mean, he was shut her down.
Brutal. Yeah. He's like, I just don't ever want to talk to you. Lose my number. I'm not your BFFE. Best friends forever and ever, by the way. Just we're not even coworkers anymore. Lose my number.
See, Artie knows what's going on here, and he's concerned about Claudia just hanging on, right? And he can't tip Claudia off. He can't do it.
Tell her anything.
Yeah. Yep. So
because there's an amazing storyline coming. But we can't tip everybody off either because, believe it or not, there are people that listen to our podcast that's never seen it before. I can't believe that. But,
they must be theorizing. If they're watching it and listening to us, they must be theorizing at this point. Because I know I was when I watched it the first time around. I don't remember watching this in the original run. I probably might have been half asleep on the treadmill or something like that and just never bothered to go back because this episode didn't grab me. Like you were saying, it was kind of a placeholder. To me, I didn't really get anything out of this.
But
I mean, there was some...
For me, when you have episodes like this, for me, who's a lifelong fan of this show, right? I love Warehouse 13, but there are episodes that don't do it for me. And I just think those episodes are just fillers. That's what I call them because they fill in, they have a purpose. We are meant to see Jinx being pissed off at the warehouse. We're meant to see the relationship between Claudia and him break down. We're meant to see you're already being upset and Myka and Pete worried about his mom. You're meant to see all those things, but then nothing else gets done about it in this episode. So it's a filler. All those things are important.
Yeah, you did get some character background with Artie talking about his dad. Now, we've met his dad already in the Christmas special, so we know who he is.
And you didn't ever meet his mother because, Pete said, well, you'd want revenge too if somebody tried to off your mom. And Artie just looks at Pete's, you've never known my mother.
True. So I think the information that we got out of this episode was all you're going to get because there's no more further action about the regents. They're not in any of the scenes. You don't see his mom. You don't even see Mrs. Frederick. It's just shut up about it now and get out there and go to work.
I think they could have done a better job of moving Lena's character along because up till now she's just like this. Yeah. She's there and she has an important function of the health and wellness of the team basically and assisting with the warehouse itself.
Getting Claudia out of drowning.
Oh my gosh. She acted she was the hero of this episode.
She was.
She acted to get Claudia out of there and then was like, Claudia, why do you pay attention to anything in the warehouse? She knows. She works in the warehouse. She knows.
Watered it with the towel.
These are not good things. That is why they're being protected there. And yet she keeps on reading the fortunes.
Reading the card from the guy, from the fortune guy. She's like, this guy instills a sense of fear. You have to actively ignore him.
Like Artie. Oh, yeah. Artie.
Just like I do with Artie. Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I got the card, I would have looked at the placard because all the artifacts in there have a placard, right? And it would tell what the artifact does. And she just doesn't know enough. And so because of plot, she just ignores that.
She knows enough. It's just she's distracted by Jinx.
Yeah. Because that was right after Jinx basically said, lose my number. I don't ever want to talk to you again, which, is her best friend. And not everything is all rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah. And Dwayne too, which is unfortunate because I know where the Dwayne storyline goes to. But for now, he's just a hot rocker dude.
I don't think Claudia's destined for better things and she's not meant to have a dude.
Unfortunately, poor thing.
I resemble that remark.
Well, she doesn't get a chick with her, so
you're not supposed to have a dude. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm a dude, and so I would very much like to meet Allison sometime and just hang out.
She is the coolest at con.
I think we would have different interests if I wanted to be her friend over time, sort of thing. But it'd be cool just spending some time with her.
Yeah,
she likes music. I've got that cameo that I got last year from her.
I know, that was so cool.
You don't see those very often anymore, but the cameo was pretty cool.
A lot of stars did that during the pandemic, and now they're able to go to cons instead of doing that. So they just focus on that. They
still do some of them, though. I have seen some of them out there. I did find there was funny when they were at the hospital with the first two that got bit. And Myka's like, well, let's go to Lover's Lane. Pete says, okay, but I only go to third base.
His one-liners are always there. They're so funny.
I wouldn't mind going to third base with Myka.
Me either.
I'll pick Pete.
Me either. I need a Myka shirt. What, you'll take Pete?
Yep.
You go to third base with Pete?
Absolutely.
All right. So, Shannon, what was your favorite part of the episode?
I don't have a favorite part of the episode.
Okay. Carolyn, did you have a favorite part of the episode?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, overall, I think the funniest part I thought of was when Artie was trying to connect with the son of the first guy that got frozen. And he's sitting there and he's like, so, into cryptography? No. Okay. And then he was into something else? No. Okay. Government espionage? The kid just looks at him like, the hell? Who are you?
There was a funny line right for that when they were Pete and Myka had to go and they're like, Artie, you gotta stay with the kid. Don't worry about it. You know, he likes you just fine. Don't worry, it's not the eyebrows.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not the eyebrows. And use that Papa Nielsen charm.
That was actually my number one favorite part of the episode, is when Artie was bonding with Danny. Danny was the name of the boy. It was definitely my favorite part of the episode. But I did write down some others because I thought that either you, Carolyn, or you, Shannon, would bring that up.
Yeah, and I had another part that was Danny was standing with his dad, and Artie was trying to say, okay, well, you could probably help. We just, and because other people are affected. And he looked at Myka, who's all shivery, and he says, well, do you need to give her the magic glasses? Because Artie had put the glasses of Alfred Butts, the inventor of the thermostat, on his dad to make him not freeze to death. And they were like, no, thank you, though. And that's when they found out it was the zombie part of the food truck at the electrical plant was pretty freaking hilarious too, because Myka starts going all crazy. Sorry, Myka, pushed her out of the car.
Pushed the keys out with her. So
whoopsies.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part?
Well, my favorite part was the Artie bonding with Danny, but I did write two others down. One was when Artie admitted that undead are real.
Yes. And then all the artifacts that could cause an undead person. There were a lot of artifacts named in this.
Like me, I'm an artifact.
You're an artifact. I believe that.
And the other thing that I wrote down was very similar to yours, except for just a little bit of a switch there, is I wrote down food trucks are not safe havens during the zombie apocalypse.
Yes, unless you know that the artifact that turned everybody into zombies is the tip jar, except for he forgot the bag. So he's like, well, I'm not supposed to do this, and smashes it on the ground.
This episode was directed by Konstantin Makris, and he has a total of 9 Warehouse 13 episodes. This is the 6th, so we have 3 left, all in season 4. So this is the last time we see him in season 3. He did get a couple of Primetime Emmy Awards. We talked about it before with Law and Order, so he was a good get for the series. It was written by a pair that we have seen before, Benjamin Robb and Derek A. Hughes. They have each had several Warehouse 13 episodes. Derek was a story editor, but he did get several credits of a writer as well, a total of 6. And then Benjamin had 17 credits, but they have both been on the same episode a few times. So basically, this was an experienced crew. I think they were told, we need to get from story A to story B and find some way to mash it together. So they chose zombies in order to do it. So great. But unless you're really, 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 really into zombies, I don't know if you really get out of a lot of this episode.
I think most of it's going to be involved with the B story. The B story was Jinx. Because they
Well,
have to have that.
that was the C
That
story.
was the C story, actually.
That was the B story.
Claudia.
The Beast, Claudia and
yeah.
Dwayne.
Mhm.
Which the C part of it's the most important part for. I mean, isn't Emily Lake next?
Yep, Emily
is the
Lake.
next. And yeah. Another funny part that I thought was
Emily
pretty
Lake.
funny was after Pete got bit by the frat kid, and he stands there and you could hear his stomach he says, "Oh, I'm starving." And Myka looks at him like, "Eat humans kind of starving?" And he says, "No, Pete Latimer kind of starving. I'm gonna go get a burrito."
Yeah, or a taco, whatever you get.
And then she's like, then he goes over and he tries to order his taco in Spanish, very terribly. And and then he's just like, "Pay the man, Myka. You owe me $28 by now. You know that, right?"
Do you guys go to food truck rallies or go to food truck for lunch or whatever?
They have them here in town. They're pretty good around the lake.
Okay. Do you go on the weekend or when you catch them?
They normally have festivals or of some kind or events happening here around the lake on the weekends that we go to sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, I've gone to a couple of them. They have them normally when they here in town, and they have movie nights at the lake when they'll play the movies up on the.
That'd be an excellent
Yeah.
place for them. Yeah.
So that's where they do it.
Well, we have very limited dining options at my work. It's not like we can't drive anywhere, but it takes time. So they do bring in food trucks every day. They rotate food trucks on our installation to go from wherever they are, several different points on our installation. And one or two
good.
or three or four. I don't go to them though, mostly because I just don't want to go outside and be in the weather. I have a history of skin cancer, so I don't like being out in the sun. If it's overcast, I don't like waiting in the rain, that sort of thing. So I don't frequent them. I have had food truck food before, and generally it's pretty good, like Korean barbecue or stuff like that. It's pretty good. But no, I don't frequent them. There is a small rally that occurs close to my house, a couple miles away from my house, that I probably should frequent more on the weekend. They have beer on tap in a facility in an actual building, and then they have up to 5 trucks that come there. It's not that big of a place, but a lot of people, it's packed on the weekend basically.
Yeah, around here they do a lot of events at the lake. So during the summer, you'll have events. They might have music on the lawn or something, and they'll bring in different live bands, but then they'll have the food trucks. So, and they're all out there near the lake and the playground. So it gets active here in the summer.
Well, they have I believe it's March every year in Tampa, Florida. They have that same largest parade of food trucks every year.
Really?
So you can still go to that. I don't know if there's been a Guinness World Record setting. 121 food trucks in one place. That's a lot of food trucks. You got to have a lot of people to make sure everybody makes a profit out of that. So I don't know if they're going to have 121 ever again, but it's Guinness Book of World Records there.
Speaking of food, the food I did see in this episode is, there was obviously the guy in the beginning eating a deer, eating mice, eating a squirrel,
and a rat.
Pete eating burritos and a candy bar. I think that was all.
I also ate a rat. He was biting into
I thought it was a mouse, but I guess it was a rat. It was a rat.
It was big.
It was big, so it was a rat.
It was no mouse.
No, that's the food that I saw in this episode.
If we're gonna call that food, but yeah.
Well, they were starving, so I guess when you're starving. But
so Shannon,
we do have a food truck installation kind of thing, not in my town, but in a town not too far from me. That's like a permanent installation. There are 6 or 7 food trucks. There's a building where you can get all of your beer or drink, inside building.
Nice.
And then you go out and then it's covered. It's like a permanently made structure for these food trucks. And they call it the barn or something like that, I think.
Yeah. Yes, SP.
Yeah. So, Shannon, do you have any email?
I had one. Yes.
Oh, okay. He actually had
You're
two.
going to have to read it.
So,
I had two.
Yep. The first one is from Hal, who has emailed us before. So this is a repeat email. He must have caught up. Remember, he was back a few episodes, so he caught up. And Hal said, "Hi, thank you for reading my email. I'm nothing to do with the show. I'm just a fan. I'm from a place called North Shields in England. So, hey there, over the pond.
Over the pond.
You know,
Sweet.
as we're recording this, it is the week after 4th of July. So, neener. Just have to get that in there.
Nice. Poke.
Hal went on to say, I've just listened to lots of podcasts and interviews. For instance, writer Benjamin Rabb said Eddie came up with Kirk out and other Star Trek references, so they had to ask permission to keep them in the show.
Oh, too funny.
Well, that would make sense because they're copyright quotes.
Yep.
And then Jack Kinney, who's the showrunner, we haven't mentioned Jack in a while, but he's the showrunner, has been since episode 2. Jack Kinney said he killed Ashley Williams off as she had a big honeymoon planned and couldn't do the show. Loads more stuff.
Oh, well, we look forward to more of your stuff. Thanks for the repeat email. I can't wait to hear any more tidbits you have.
See, I still say that killing off Ashley Williams was the kink that led the show down a very steep decline as we go into season 5.
Apparently, she had better things to do, like a honeymoon.
A rather big honeymoon. I have no idea what she did, but yeah, after that, it's Hallmark Channel. So maybe she honeymooned for Hallmark. I don't know.
Well, maybe she got married to Hallmark.
We also had another email from
two.
Yeah, from Clyde. Clyde said, absolutely thank you for the podcast. I enjoy your banter every episode. It's sad that Warehouse 13 doesn't get more podcast love. Right? Hopefully we get a reunion limited run of Warehouse 13 one of these days. They just FYI, in case you didn't know, they did a couple of panels during the pandemic where they all came together. And there was one of note that I watched before I started this. And it was the one where Allison was talking about if they did return for the next run, because she would be the nexus of the show, that she would have to be a different character. Not as in play somebody different, but her character would have had to progress.
Well, she was going to be the next caretaker, so it would have progressed anyways. Because that's how
she would have had to have changed. She'd become probably very Miss Burdick-ish.
So, Clyde, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. I believe I have linked it in one of our earlier episodes. Also, Clyde continued and he said, I'm listening to your most recent podcast at the moment, and a comment was made about the show Jag, which I love.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorites.
Did you know Prime now has secured the full rights to show every episode, supposedly, now, which hopefully should have correct captions? Haven't tried yet.
Well, I don't know about the captions, but because of him saying so, I went and I'm like, save. So now I have all. You know what's cool about Jag is that this was back in the mid '90s, and I was looking at the seasons, and they all have like 22 episodes. I'm like, why can't we have shows like that anymore?
Nobody's going to have shows like that anymore.
We would have so many episodes like we just watched with Insatiable, where it was just filler episodes. I don't mind the character development episodes, but we didn't get a lot of character development in this. So this was just a filler episode. And you get more of that once you get into the episodes that are 20, 22, 26. Because remember, these shows used to premiere about the time that school came back in session around Labor Day, and they would go all the way into Memorial Day. And they would take time off for like spring break or the holidays,
Christmas.
But they were every week back then. And it was just a lot of story that I think everybody, even the consumers, have said, no, we don't want all of that filler. We want more of a condensed story. We want a really good told story. And I don't think you can tell a good story over 26 episodes.
I like Star Trek Next Generation, lots of episodes.
There are so
SP1.
many filler episodes even in the later seasons.
But I liked him.
But it also
And I appreciated the
depends on
email.
show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the emails helped me because we were.
Yeah.
I think it was Sasha was talking about Catherine Bell, right? So look, it depends on the show because I'm sure there are what we would call filler episodes for Jag, but Jag was a new case every week. So I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
do you have filler episodes of Law and Order? No, you have a new case every week. So I mean, it depends on the show.
Well, we appreciate very much the emails that we get. Thanks. That was cool to have 2 of them.
Yeah, it was
Two
really
in one
cool.
try.
Awesome.
Yeah, and as Sci-Fi can do that too. The Monster of the Week with Fringe season 1. I actually went back into. It's also on Prime, by the way. I went back into Prime and started. I started watching the pilot. Matter of fact, we were Carolyn. We have to have an apology.
Were we wrong?
We were totally wrong. There was, and Shannon was a little bit wrong. So Fringe started out with an airplane that landed on its own. There was like this event that happened on board.
Okay.
Right. So it didn't crash, but everybody on board was, turned into some sort of monster and died.
Stroke victim.
Well, I mean, I didn't remember it either because when did that show come out?
September 8th, 2008 was the pilot.
That came out before Warehouse.
Yeah, a year before. Yeah.
So
I mean, it was good stuff, and now that I know it's on Amazon, I might want to go back and watch
Orphan Black.
I watched the first episode. I did. I watched the first episode on Sunday.
And then
Shannon, did you watch The Expanse?
Oh yeah, you said you were going to watch The Expanse, Shannon.
Will. I forgot about it, and I got a job, so I'm like, Expanse. Where do I find
it's hard to do when you have it's hard to do when you got other things to do, isn't it?
Where do I find that? Is it on Prime?
It's on Prime.
Yep. It's actually Amazon owns it. Yeah.
Amazon owns it. They saved it and then killed it, but they saved it in the first place.
You just remind you, Shannon, you made the deal that if Carolyn watched Orphan Black, you would watch The Expanse.
The whole Expanse.
I will. I'll get into it. Every night.
I did watch the first episode of Orphan Black. It was interesting. I'll watch the rest.
Every night we
dabble in more.
I got Sasha into Sleepy Hollow, which has the same guy from Fringe.
Yep.
That's
what we got talking about Fringe.
Yeah. He plays a really good bad guy.
He does.
John Noble is an excellent actor.
Oh my gosh.
I think he might be kind of aged out now. I mean, he did a lot of great stuff, including Lord of the Rings and stuff. But
he did Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, he was in Lord of the Rings. I thought we talked about that last time.
I do have to. I was talking to a former coworker of mine. I did not see. I spout our podcast to pretty much anybody who will listen. And I was talking to a former coworker of mine, and we were trying to catch up on how things were going. And he said that I said that my podcast was still going really well, and he spouted off what we say, what the gal says at the beginning of our podcast, and I was like, oh, "You listen?" And he's like, "I dabble." So, Jordan, if you're listening, thank you for listening very, very much. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
And John Noble played Denethor. And I could be saying that incorrectly, but he was in the last two of the Lord of the Rings, so the Two Towers and Return of the King.
Honestly, it's been so many years since I've seen anything of Lord of the Rings. I have DVDs, but they were long, long movies, like Braveheart kind of long movies, and I don't think I've seen them since they came out.
Yeah, I think I'm still streaming the extended version of The Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's still on a screen as they're walking through the fields. It
was like a 4-hour long movie, right?
The extended version, I think it's like 6 or 8.
Good grief.
I don't have patience for that.
Like I said, it's still streaming. I started it years ago.
I haven't even seen the new one that's on Amazon that they made. I haven't seen it yet.
The ones with the dragons.
Movies like Braveheart and Dances with Wolves. I mean, the 3-4 hours. That's about as long as you're going to get me to sit.
So
what was that? SP.
It was called. I'm trying to remember the Amazon Prime. The Rings of Power.
The Rings of Power. Yeah, that's it. I haven't watched that yet.
Basically, they take the addendum or the companion or whatever, I forget what the name of it is, that was written for Lord of the Rings, and they expand it out for that show. And I went into it not really caring about it. And they do a couple of things. Do you guys like or hate when they do the dark screen so you can't tell what's going on?
I hate that filming. I absolutely, it ruins the picture. It ruins it. I hate it. So I watched Willow, the new Willow that they put on Disney Plus. I actually liked it. The only problem was all of the amazing acting and the amazing like sword play and all of that was dark filmed. So even when we made the room completely pitch black, you can't see any of it. And I'm like, why would you film it this way? I don't know. Maybe some people like it, but I hate it. Hate it with a passion because I can't see anything. I'm like, what am I even watching? This is like, I feel like I'm watching a silent movie or all I can hear. Like I'm watching a radio show. I'm like, okay, I can hear things, but what's the point?
Audio drama. So the first thing that the production team has said when they do that is, well, you don't have a good enough TV. If you had a good enough TV, you'd be able to see something. And that has been debunked because
I have a great TV. So on that one,
even if you have an 8K TV with incredible contrast, you still can't see what the heck's going on. And then their next thing after saying you should get a new TV is, oh, it's meant to be that way. It's meant to tell you you have no idea what's going on. Because if you were really there, you wouldn't be able to see it. Well, I want to see it, and that's why I'm watching it. And if you continue to do this, I'm just going to turn it off.
Right?
I almost turned off the Rings of Power.
Interested in that.
No, I mean, I literally, it was so hard for me not to stop watching because I literally, when they do that, I'm like, I can't, I'm staring at it on all different kinds of angles and going, nope, can't. And half the time, that's all you're seeing. Like there's no sound. Like there's just acting going on. You can't see the acting. What is the point? I mean,
yeah, if this continues with the second season of the Rings of Power, then I will drop the show because I don't want to continue watching something that makes me frustrated.
Is the Rings of Power the one where it's like Lord of the Rings, but they did it with the girls?
No, well, I mean, there's more women in it, but they also go forward. It's a prequel, basically, is what it is. Gadriel, is that her name?
The other one.
So a lot of the Ring of Power is dark.
There are battle scenes in at least 2 of the final episodes that
you can't see anything.
Yeah, there's one epic battle. Yeah,
I mean, it's an epic battle. You would think you'd want to like show it off and have it like, because that takes a lot of stunt coordinating and everything. I mean, there takes a lot of time to prep that.
But you know what?
And then you can't even see it.
I'm sitting here listening to talk about Rings of Power, but in my mind, all I'm seeing is the Wheel of Time.
Oh.
No, that's different. They also did Darkness, and I almost stopped watching it because I couldn't see half of it. I'm like...
Yeah, I read a little bit of the book, maybe a third of it. So I have that background, and then I started watching it. And I will admit, the show did take it in slightly different, more active directions.
First season of Wheel of Time was amazing. Second season, it took me a long time to watch it because I get into an episode and then I'd pause it. You know, I'm not into this episode. And it would say pause for like half an hour, and then I go back and watch a little bit of it. Second season was hard to get through.
I haven't seen the second season. It's on the list.
Yeah, it's kind of on the list for me, but still,
it's really hard when they do that dark filming.
Yeah, I went into Wikipedia to see where the story went because I'm like, okay, I don't want this to be a Game of Thrones. I want to be able to follow.
Wheel of Time?
Yeah, I want to be able to follow a character that I can follow. And
I love the girl.
Well, I know what happens to her, at least in the book series. I don't know if they're going to go there in the TV series. And full disclosure, the author passed away before they were able to write the final book. So he knew he was not going to be there. So he gave everything to the guy that took it over. I can't remember either of their names off the top of my head, but the guy that took it over did his best, and everybody appreciated him taking the story. Like the audience, the fandom appreciated him taking the story forward. There was some people that had issues with it, but it's like, hey, at least we got an ending on like
I don't even know if it's.
the
I
dragon.
Yeah.
You finished the book, or you
I
finished
finished the second season. I don't know if they're gonna have a third.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, talking about a
Warehouse 13
season of Warehouse 13, the next episode that we're going to talk about is season 3, episode 11, Emily Lake.
It's taking it so long to get here.
So, Shannon, you once again return to the driver's seat, and you get to decide what of the 3.
Amazon.
Okay, Amazon Prime Video description reads Emily Lake.
Oh, wow.
No,
So descriptive.
It doesn't. I was just so it reads, Pete and Myka race to stop Sykes from using his own cache of artifacts to destroy them and the warehouse in the season finale, part 1 of 2.
What? Uh-oh.
So I have a question. We haven't talked about this yet. I don't remember. Did it air the same time? I should have looked that up. So basically, I want to know. Yep, they aired the same day, October 2nd, 2011. Do we want to take both episodes next time, or do we want to do one and then the other?
I think we should do one and then the other, because that's a lot of stuff to remember.
Emily Lake and then Stand.
Yeah.
Those 2 episodes.
Yes, those 2 episodes were aired back to back in October of 2011.
The season finale for season 3.
Yeah.
Is my absolute favorite episode of Warehouse 13.
All right. Let's break it up then. So
let's break them up, because
acknowledge the fact that Sci-Fi aired these together, but we're going to break them up and take them individually.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think that would be a lot to otherwise we'd have to make it a longer podcast.
That's fine, because each episode has so much in it.
Yeah, exactly.
The season finale for this season, I remember watching it for the very first time, and I'm like, they better not have, but they better not. I'm gonna riot, right? Like, it was so good. It was so unexpected.
I'm ready to rage tweet.
Well, I didn't even tweet back then when it came on, but I was like,
and this was before gummies were legal in Texas, so you had nothing to calm you down.
Oh, she probably had alcohol.
What year did this come out? You said 2011.
Yeah,
okay.
October of 2011.
So Michaela was only 1. And I remember watching all of Warehouse 13 around that time when she was 1. And then I didn't watch it again and get back into it until I was pregnant with Bear. Because that's what Sean and I were watching, and we were rewatching it when I went into labor with Bear. So that's how I got back into it. So I watched all of it, and then I didn't watch anything for a while.
I love how you can tell time with a TV series by how old your kids are.
I mean,
well, it's easy because she's born on an even number, right? She's born in 2010. At the beginning, January 30th, 2010.
It's just funny. I think it's
I was
funny.
in Hawaii when she was born.
Yeah.
I remember texting Sean or messaging him or whatever and telling him congrats.
It was one of the coldest days of the year.
It's pretty warm on Waikiki Beach, just saying.
And when I had Bear in 2013, in June 11th, 2013, what's funny is I remember, speaking of having Michaela, Spartacus was brand new.
Mm.
And I remember having my sister-in-law record it. The night I went into labor was the night it premiered. I'm like, I want this because it had Lucy Lawless and Jamie Murray. I'm like,
was Jamie Murray in the pilot? I don't remember if she was right. I know Julie Lawless.
She was in season 2.
Yeah, right.
Gods of the Arena. That's the name of the season.
Did you see? I think it might be on the BBC. I'm not sure, but I saw that Lucy Lawless has a new mystery show. I just saw an ad for it somewhere. I think it might be on the BBC.
I think it's been out for a while.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I don't watch much
Well,
on the team.
think
I just
she
saw it and I was like,
plays-
I need to remember to tell Shannon this.
I think she plays the detective or something. I haven't
Yeah, I think
seen
so.
it either. BBC?
She's fun to see on screen in whatever she's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well, she's an
that's true.
amazing actress. That was
Mhm.
like, I'm telling you, even to this day, and I have a lot of autographs. The autograph I have with both Lucy and Jamie on the same picture was the most expensive autograph that I've ever paid for.
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
I think it goes right up there with the amount of money I paid for my shoes last night.
Well, it is something else that's amazing is our audience, and they have been giving us awesome emails. So once again, our email is warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. That's warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. And yes, as Carolyn was trying to say, as I was saying that, thank you very much for all the feedback. We really appreciate it. In particular to Hal and Clyde this week.
Yes. Thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you listeners and all the feedback. It's just great. We appreciate it a lot.
All right. And with that, I think we're getting out of here. So until next week, I'm the Janitor SP.
I'm Sci-Fi Girl.
I'm Ocean 363. Who's hungry? Want to go get something to eat now?
Tacos.
Burritos.
Thanks for joining us for an episode of the Artie's Attic Warehouse 13 Fancast. You can find all our episodes at warehouse13fancast.com. If you'd like to contact us, you can hit us up on our email at warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. We are a part of the Lone Wolf Podcast Network. You can hear more of this cast and other shows like it by checking out lonewolfpodcasts.com. The intro music is Sci-Fi Hybrid Intro by Soundmake, and the outro music is Science Fiction by Tunes to Go. Both were purchased on pond5.com.
Well, I picked up my new car this weekend.
Well, new to you.
Yeah, I picked up my new to me car this weekend. I flew up to Minnesota and I drove it back.
Your new what car?
My new to me car. It's a 2019 Toyota Highlander.
I like Highlanders.
Yeah, it's surprisingly everything that I would want it to be so far, except for it doesn't have CarPlay in it, but I added an additional screen in for that, so we're good.
Lindsay Creative. That's her name on Instagram. She's an amazing forger. I mean, she did this by hand. This is her
That's nice.
handiwork. I know, isn't it though?
She like create the heat by.
Yeah, she has superpowers.
Okay.
Totally by her hands. She just held on to it until it just bam.
Oh, so what'd you think of Orphan Black?
The first episode, it was interesting. Interesting way to start a series. I have to watch more of it, but I thought I did actually start it, so I thought I would text you guys and say, "Hey, I started it."
They made an announcement yesterday that the Winona team that does the Winona, they're going to be at the San Diego Comic-Con again. I was like,
Oh.
I'll never go to there, but you know, I'll watch it on YouTube.
Getting a ticket there is impossible.
Yeah, that's one con it'd be cool to say I did once, but I'm never going to get to go.
You know what? I went to the New York Comic-Con one time back in, I think it's 2015.
Defiance Days. It was Defiance Days.
I went there for the Defiance stuff. The very next year, all of Winona was there.
Well, if I could do any big con again, it would be Dragon Con. I love
I would like
Dragon
to go
Con.
to Dragon Con.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm telling you, oh my God, there's a con coming to San Antonio in October that's got like 19 people that I want to see. I'm like, how long has it been since you've seen all the listings for the guests at a con? And you're like, I want to see that one. I want to see that one. I want to see that one. It
did that in January.
It's got John Delancey. It's got Gates McFadden. It's got Jonathan Franks. It's got, I think, Will Wheaton. I know LeVar Burton's coming. Jerry Ryan. It's got
That
Kate
was like the
Mabry.
Dragon Con that I went to. I mean, it was like a perfect storm. I had a bunch of Continuum people, I had a bunch of Defiance people. We had basically the whole crew of Battlestar
Gina
Galactica.
Carano and
Ooh, I would love to meet her.
Katie Sackhoff and
She's so
some
sweet.
some
She lives in
black
Portland.
dude from it.
Some which
know-
dude?
The black dude from Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah. I suck at names. don't
Yeah,
I?
he's gonna be. Those three are gonna be there. Of course, Shatner's gonna be there because Shat goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And then
The
it's got Ming Na.
She is so sweet in person.
I've met
Just
her.
a sweetheart. I love her.
I've met Katie Sackhoff too.
Me too.
I've got
And
both
she lives
their
in she
autographs.
lives in my state. She lives in Portland.
Is she still with Carl Urban?
No. She's married to a guy, a writer from Canada who is super sweet. Cracks me up every time. And they have actually 2 kids now.
Good for her.
Yeah, they live in Portland. She has her own podcast.
Does she?
The Sackoff Show. Mm-hmm. She's interviewed some fun people so far. I haven't listened to all of them yet, but
Do you know who I enjoyed listening to the podcast of? Is Gates McFadden.
yeah, hers is fun too.
Actually, doesn't
Investigate.
Katie interview Gates? I wanna
She
say
might.
She does.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'd have to go look. I haven't seen it yet. I like listening to our podcast too. I go back and listen to our podcast.
I listened to our podcast several times.
Well, that's because you're editing it. I choose to go listen to it.
Well, let's go if you want to go, because this is my. If there's ever an episode that's going to be for me, the zombie one, it's me.
I know. I thought of you.
All right, here we go.
Gotta show some Stevie there. Okay.
You ready now?
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
ready?
Maybe.
Are you ready
Stevie,
now?
Eh,
can you hear me now? Yes.
How about,
about
now?
now?
You ready?
now?
Okay. Apparently, I talked to my phone and it started answering for me.
Okay. Is your phone okay? Can we go now?
I'm ready. Let's go.
How about now?
And hit it.